Joe Cullen tritt an gegen den erfolgreichsten Spieler aus dem deutschsprachigen Raum überhaupt. Er ist inzwischen die Nummer 10 der Welt und das vor allem aufgrund eines tollen Jahres 2016. Er hat das European Tour Event von Riesa gewonnen. Er stand im Finale der European Darts Championship aus Wien. The Gentle Mensur Suljovic. Best of 11 Legs, das ist das Format auf der European Tour und wird bis einschließlich zum Finale gespielt. Wer 6 Legs gewinnt, zieht also in das Viertelfinale ein. Und Caller der ersten Begegnung ist The Voice, Russ Bray.
Well, welcome to the final day of action at the HappyBet European Darts Grand Prix. 48 players came here this weekend. We are down to the last 16. 8 games this afternoon will set up our quarter-finals, which will be played this evening along with the semis and the final. Michael van Gerwen, the world #1, still in the hunt for another Euro Tour title. Peter Wright in the hunt to win a 3rd out of 4 this year. The world #3 takes on Daryl Gurney. That is one cracking match, but we've got some superb games this afternoon. MVG takes on the surprise package here at the Glaspalast in Sindelfingen this weekend. Ulf Seder. We'll hear that chant later on in the final game of the day, but we start with Mensur Suljovic, #3 seed here this weekend, against Joe Cullen, the man from Bradford who's claimed his first PDC title. I'm Dan Dawson talking you through the opening game. Chris Murphy, a man who... his favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle was Leonardo, because he thought he was a Sheffield Wednesday fan. There's a little insight into the man who'll be talking you through this game with me.
Yeah, and perhaps my favourite dart player should be Joe Cullen, because he's the highest ranked Yorkshireman in the world of darts.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg Joe to throw first. Game on!
But I will keep that one to myself. I told you my favourite chipmunk and turtle before I went on air. Anyway, we'll get talking about darts, 85. Shall we? And yeah, this trio on stage, I'm including Russ Bray, and that seemed to be having a lovely time before it all kicked off. Russ took the acclaim with the crowd. Suljovic and Cullen found it very funny.
59.
But this pair are not strangers to each other in this very tournament. The 3rd time they've met, in fact, in the European Darts Grand Prix. 1 win apiece, and the first one, just 3 years ago, was a first round match, meaning both players had entered the tournament as qualifiers. Imagine that.
Yeah, well, look at the progress they've made since then. #3 and #14 seed meeting in the last 16. Of course, they met the last 16 last time out on the Euro Tour as Cullen hits the first 180 of the final day of action.
And they are 2 players that we've both seen have the potential to go bananas on the Euro Tour. They've both run astronomical averages, brilliant performances. Let's see if they can both do it and provide an absolute classic to kick off this afternoon session on the final day of the European Tour 4 in 2017.
Well, they've both thrown 109 plus averages on this stage. Mensur Suljovic managed to beat Michael van Gerwen, despite MVG averaging 111. And Joe Cullen beat Raymond van Barneveld despite Barney averaging 113, and he's looking at 20 for double top to get the first leg on the board with a 15 darter. He's a little bit high. The likelihood is that he comes back and has another go at it.
He will come back. And Joe will have another go. But Suljovic looking over his shoulder, waiting for the same finish. And now Cullen has 1 dart, double 5, but he pins it.
Leg. Joe Cullen, second leg, Mensur the throw.
Talked about this in Joe Cullen's 6-1 win against Johnny Clayton in his opening game of this tournament yesterday. Seeds entering at the 2nd round stage. It's this rhythm that he has got, where kind of metronomic. He's not the fastest thrower in the world, certainly not the slowest, but all 3 darts he gives the same care and attention to, and that means that even as it's getting nervy, as he misses inside on one double and misses inside on another, you still fancy he's going to give himself the best chance possible to pin the double with the last dart. He managed to illustrate that there.
Yeah, and it's already been a pivotal year for Joe Cullen, having picked up his first PDC title.
34.
That was in a Players' Championship event in Barnsley, and he put it down to the fact that he'd stopped being lazy. His words, not mine.
Graft.
85.
But since winning that first PDC title, Joe Cullen hasn't been past this stage in the 5 subsequent events.
140.
Well, last time out in the Euro Tour, the German Darts Open in Saarbrücken met this man, Mensur Suljovic, at this stage of the tournament, and he was beaten 6-2. Hoping for a bit of revenge on Mensur and took his place in the quarterfinals.
85.
Good last start from Suljovic. But Cullen has an early opportunity to break. Well, that could have blocked the ball, and he's not going to get a go anywhere. Suljovic could end up on the bullseye himself, which he's just pinned.
Mensur require 135.
Bull for the Austrian. 25 scored, treble 20 now. And this looks inviting for the bullseye.
110. Joe, you require 20.
Well, Cullen on the Mensur.
Game
pins
shot
it
on the second leg.
To break and double his lead, and it's all going well for the Yorkshireman.
Game on.
Yeah, Mensur hoisted by his own petard. Cullen breaking throw, hitting Mensur's favourite double.
58.
Joe was practicing. We got a board set up just behind the stage here. He was getting a few last darts before the action started. Mensur just sat down, didn't throw a dart, did he?
Oh, almost laughing at
65.
Cullen in his decision to practice.
Maybe he should have had a couple. 2-0 down, and it could be 3.
140.
Well, practice makes perfect, they say. Suljovic obviously not wanting to waste his best darts on the practice board because he's saved them for the stage.
140.
Mensur had a bit more of a battle through his opening round win yesterday against Krzysztof Ratajski.
76.
Strange one, that. Yeah, Mensur beating the Polish champion 6-4, average 98 in doing the business.
55.
Cullen seems to be bossing him so far. All right, he missed a dart at the bull in the second leg. It's the only chance he's had. And Cullen poised again. Suljovic really needs a big one. Try and get himself into this contest. And the best he can hope was 141.
Joe, you require 127.
Look at Mensur's score, has to go for the bullseye, and that may have just put him out of his rhythm. We talked about that rhythm and giving himself the best possible chance, but it just a bit stop-start, and not really an issue for Mensur because he throws at all different kinds of speeds and he'll take breaks in between darts, but when you're used to being in that rhythm and you get knocked out of it, can have an effect. Double 16.
Well, again, he's had to be knocked out of the rhythm, but this time it's a sensible step.
Cullen, full flag, Mensur to throw first. Game on.
Well, Joe Cullen against the number 3 seed here in charge, and this looks already like a must-win leg for Mensur because they're only averaging 92 apiece, but Joe Cullen always seems a dart ahead.
135.
Just is in the right shot at the right time. That's what this game's all about. So far, everything going according to plan for Cullen. A race to 6, as it is in every game on the European Tour. Right the way through today, even in the quarterfinals, the semis and the final. First to 6 legs.
85.
Gets the job done.
Yeah, and it's played in draw bracket order. throughout the final day, so we know that the winner of this match will take on the winner of the next one, which is Webster against Clarkson. As Mensur looks to fit it up, couldn't quite. And to be brutally honest, their previous performances suggest that they could be there for the taking for the winner of this.
So far this weekend, but it's about stepping it up on the final day of action. Can Mensur Suljovic, I think he'd go for the bullseye if he hits the treble 17 here. Well, we may never know.
Well, I think you were right, and he's just proved you're right. Just to get himself going, I guess. We saw Simon Whitlock of all sorts of trouble with 34 yesterday. What a setup shot that is from Joe Cullen to apply the pressure. Right, which route? Wait for it. Oh, he split it. Of course he split it for his favourite double 14. Couldn't find it against Ratajski. But he can against Cullen. And Mensur is in the match.
Good leg, Joe, to throw first. Game on.
Well, he's in the match, but still has work to do. He's going to have to find a break of throw, hold, and find another break from somewhere else, Mensur Suljovic, to turn this around. And that is no easy task against Joe Cullen. But he is very up to producing big performances, Mensur Suljovic. That is his first maximum.
91.
It's his turn to get the timing right.
Loads of room. Loads of room, and he finds the space for a sixth perfect dart. Mensur Suljovic, when he needed a big leg, he could be about to produce the biggest of the lot. 1-4-1 for the 9.
Well, we've got no idea which way he'll want to pick it off. But he started with a treble 20. And he aimed for the treble 15 to leave double 18, teasing a potential perfect leg. But Joe Cullen could land a body blow with the biggest finish of the lot.
Mensur unable to produce the perfect leg. Cullen unable to produce the biggest finish of the lot. And it means that Mensur's got double 12 for a 10 darter. For one of the breaks of throw he needs.
Well, it'll be the best we've seen this weekend. Just walk out. Simply the best. But it's becoming trickier. And he's been unable to find it.
Joe, you require 126.
And Cullen couldn't take out the 170. Didn't put a very big dent in it, to be honest. Needs treble 19 for ball, and he doesn't get that. And that will be a massive frustration for Joe Cullen. Allows Mensur yet more darts at double 12 to get a break of throw. Mensur would love to just switch the scores around right now, because he's struggling. Double 6. Oh, last start in hand, and the headbutt makes his first appearance of the day. Mensur Suljovic trademark celebration.
6 leg, Mensur to throw first. Game on.
Believe it or not, I have heard players in the past claim that they were put off by their own 9 dart attempts in a game, and Suljovic struggled at the end of that leg, but in the end, it was a break of throw. We're now back on throw. And the match has got a very different complexion to that which it had a couple of minutes ago.
Well, at 3-0 down, Mensur Suljovic looked to be in trouble, but he has just raised his game. Admittedly, those missed darts at doubles mean his average is still below the 100.
We talked about his superb record on the Euro Tour yesterday, the one that saw him seeded second for last year's European Championship, and he backed up that seeding by finishing second in the European Championships, the effective Euro Tour finals, if you like. But yeah, he reached every single quarter-final on the European Tour last year. His run was actually ended in the second event of this year in Jena by Kyle Anderson at this stage.
Now then, Cullen. Now then, Joe. 180 number 2 for the Yorkshireman. 2 apiece in this game.
Yeah, strong riposte from Suljovic. Getting himself down to 76. And Mensur would usually take this kind of finish out, but as we've seen, he's not been his usual self on the outer ring.
Looking down the board. Now it has to be 20 for tops. Tops it is.
Game
3 in a row. We've got a level game.
Suljovic. 7th leg, Joe to throw first. Game on.
Well, the rock star was on song at the start of this one, winning 3 straight legs. And he's finding his hits again. Green a bed for Joe Cullen. Is it his turn to threaten something that we rarely see on Euro Tour streams?
Ace to 1.
Well, Joe Cullen,
134.
when he won his first Pro Tour title, he beat Daryl Gurney in the final, denying the Northern Irishman a second title just 24 hours after winning the first himself of his career.
140.
But he had to hold off a fight back from Gurney in that final. He took a commanding lead, Cullen, and Gurney roared back at him. Joe just got over
93.
the line. He's having to deal with a fight back from Mensur Suljovic here. But he's on a potential 11 darter. And you have to say, good strength of character from Joe Cullen. Got 2 visits to see this off, to go back into the lead.
Yeah, well, he's taken his average over a ton as well, Cullen. So he's upped his game again as Mensur brought it to him. Joe has lifted himself once more. And set himself up for this shot.
140.
Suljovic has done the same. So Joe, it's got to go.
Game on the 7th leg.
Joe Cullen, who does a wonderful line in kind of blue steel. I assume that was somebody at the crowd that was directed rather than directly back at Mensur.
Yeah, unless out of shot, Suljovic was orchestrating the crowd to cheer the missed darts. But the first one was so far away, it was a kind of ironic cheer, wasn't it, from the crowd? And then he kind of constructed, he's found a route, step by step, to the double 18. He let the crowd know what he thought of it.
It can be difficult, those ones, when you've missed by such a distance, but it's still there in your eye line. It's just stood there like an accusation. But that is 180 number 3 for Mensur Suljovic. And you can see very little in the averages here. 110 first 9 for both men. Very competitive game of darts here. Mensur Suljovic had to fight to get past Christoph Ratajski in his opening game. Joe Cullen breezed past the challenge of Johnny Clayton. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be breezing into the quarterfinals. Look like it's going to be a battle, a fight.
Well, as a finish, he took out a couple of legs ago. Same routes. Will it be the same outcome? Double top. Yes, it is. 4 apiece. Lots of credit to Mensur Suljovic, having trailed 3-0 in this match. Also credit, Dan, has to be said, he saw the funny side of Joe Cullen's reaction in the previous leg. Not everyone takes things so light-heartedly.
No, I can think of a few players who perhaps wouldn't have enjoyed that so much. Oh, Mensur. Number 4. Not quite. Big Austrian. Arms flailing around. 140 in response, but Mensur Suljovic has an opportunity here to make his move. This 9th leg, often so vital in tight games of darts, and that is exactly what we have here.
45.
You heard the groan from the crowd there at that missed dart. They're not used to seeing darts missed by such a margin in this game. We had that wild one at double 18 from Cullen that drew a response from him. But they are absorbed by this here at the Glass Palast in Sindelfingen, and why wouldn't they be?
100. Joe, you require 100.
Now, Cullen won't go for the bullseye if he put 2 in the treble 20. I would have guaranteed that. Because Joe Cullen, for a guy nicknamed the Rockstar and who had a bit of a reputation as a younger player for being flash and showy, now he 99.9% of the time makes the sensible decision, takes the correct shot.
Game shot,
And that's certainly the correct shot, and he executes it perfectly. 5-4 to Cullen. He was under pressure there when Mensur kicked off 140. He had only gone off 60, but he turned that leg around, and in very impressive fashion. But he's not seen Mensur off just yet.
If it carries on like this all day, Dan, what a day we're in for. Wonderful stuff in the opening match. Ton-topping averages. 7-180s. Suljovic threatened perfection earlier on. Looking to set up a deciding leg, and is he looking to do it in sensational style?
Well, he is certainly looking to do it in sensational style. When he did this earlier on in the 5th leg,
93.
he went treble 20 with the 7th dart and missed treble 15. And he's gone treble 5 with the 7th dart here. Well, Mensur Suljovic once again threatening the perfect leg, unable to produce it, but he does look very, very well placed to win this penultimate leg of the match. Double 16 to take us all the way.
Well, Cullen not on and out.
Game shot at 10th leg. Mensur
Suljovic,
the 11th.
without pressure in going for that double 16, which he hit. Whatever's gone before, forget about it. Forget the 2 9-dart attempts. Forget the 3-0 lead. One leg, and Cullen has only started with a 60.
6 times these guys have met in the past. Only once has it gone to a deciding leg. That was at the start of last year in the UK Open qualifiers, and Joe Cullen managed to win that. It is only one of 2 wins Joe Cullen has over Mensur Suljovic. But it is looking like he may get to a match start first, because that is a 4th 180 for the Yorkshireman. 101 plays 102 in the averages. 110 plus for both men on the first 9. 9 180s, I beg your pardon, between them. What a fascinating game of darts this has been to kick off the final day of the HappyBet European Darts Grand Prix. And Cullen is closing in on a place in the quarter-finals for the 2nd time this year in the European Tour.
Certainly not bad for starters.
81.
Suljovic, some distance behind. Can Cullen finish with a fanfare by landing double 18? Well, in return for that target, and he's hit it a couple of times already. All Mensur Suljovic can do now is fire in a big score just to apply a little bit of pressure. But Cullen, it's over to you.
Match starts for Joe Cullen. And he takes out the double 18 for the 3rd time in this match. Registers a victory over Mensur Suljovic for the 3rd time in his career. Into the quarter-finals on the European Tour for the 2nd time. 101 averages for the pair of them. The number 3 seed is out. And Yorkshireman Joe Cullen is through to the final session of action. He will take on a former world champion. We know that much.